Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Thursday. This is the pre-show. I'm John Arilla. Thank you for being here. Thank you also, Not That Karen Dragon, for becoming a Tier 1 member. Much appreciated. Love the name. Hello, everyone. We've got a lot planned for the day. This is the big Thursday of the month where you get not only a pre-show, but you also get a show. And you're probably wondering who's going to be co-hosting it for the first time ever. The liberal redneck himself, Trey Crowder, is going to be joining us. How fun is that going to be? So we're going to talk about a lot on this show. Obviously, so much going on with, can we still call it an infrastructure bill? It's a bill, I guess. There's some infrastructure. We'll be talking about that and whether we think it's actually going to pass. Then Tucker Carlson has gone full Alex Jones, which I've always said is slightly too Alex Jones, going full. We're going to have that for you. The grilling of Merrick Garland, lots of fun there. Ted Cruz defending Nazis. Fox praising Chinese propaganda. You know, that's going to be fun. And they're burning books. And evangelicals are looking at the smoking remains of their whole thing. We've got a lot that's going to be happening on the show. And then after that, we're going to be doing our Tier 3 monthly live Q&A. So those of you we're Tier 3 members. Every month we hang out. We're going to be doing that at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Just talking about whatever you want to talk about. It'll be fun. Doesn't have to be serious, but it can be. While we're doing that, Laurel Ann P. got approved for SSI benefits. How awesome is that? That's really cool. That's really cool. Okay, by the way, I am wearing, available at Shop TYT, the awesome Anna, her viral video from TikTok. We have this to commemorate it. Very soft. I'm liking this shirt. And that is available at Shop TYT. This is going to be a fast pre-show, by the way, because I still have some prep to do before Trey Crowder joins us. And you've probably seen that like twice in the last couple of weeks, our show just hasn't worked in the beginning. We don't want that to happen. So we're going to be trying to avoid it. By the way, so some people said, they almost missed the live notification because they're used to just seeing my face as the thumbnail. And so I'm really torn about it because the tradition is that it's just my face. And I feel like that lets people know that it's that video. But then afterward, do I just leave it on just my face? I doubt that's going to work to get people non-live to watch it. So should I upload a thumbnail afterward? I don't know. What do you think about this? If it's a thumbnail, is it going to confuse you or you're going to miss the live show as a result of that? Well, anyway, a bunch of you are here, so thank you for being here. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. We're going to go through some stories. Change it post, thumbnail after. Yes, please do not use Trump's face. Well, that's a different question. After, I need your face. It just threw me. Thumbnail. Okay, so it seems like you guys are pretty clear on this. Well, really fast. Okay, is it because it's confusing or you just prefer it? Don't matter. Hey, someone said don't matter. Work on intro to show. Stop it, you. Pretty face. That's not true. Your face with a reaction. I'm gonna do a crazy face for every single day. Your face means pre-show. Okay. Did the full show's thumbnail change? Well, they've been doing this like template thing. They've been trying to change that. Honestly, I kind of like when it's me and the co-host, but you know, it's not to be. Okay, so let's talk about the news, everyone. Get ready for me to flip you around really fast because you need to see this. You know what I love? I love dogs. Unfortunately, now in DC, Tom Tillis has held his annual bipartisan Halloween dog parade, giving you, let's see, people's dogs, including this fireman dog. Let's see, we have the cinema dog. That's a dog, but as Kirsten Cinema. There's a person in a dog suit. This is Mitch McConnell somehow. Okay, this is Sarah Jacobs saying Nancy Pelosi is working hard to build Bark better and help all Americans unleash their potential. And yeah, so just want to be clear that had a good run of me liking dogs and now not so interested in it anymore. So that's fun. Anyway, someone has taxed the cats on one of them. That's kind of funny. But other than that, no, I don't think I like dogs. Capybaras are pretty cool. Maybe I'll become a capybara boy, or what I call a cappy boy. Maybe I'll be a cappy boy from now on. Anyway, that's what you got going on there. That's fun. Oh, I wanted to give you a little bit of homework, and I'm going to do it early on. So, Steven Donziger has been taking on Chevron. The legal process that has resulted in him now going to jail is obviously insane, totally corrupt, totally unjust. Well, Jordan brought to my attention that Move On is doing a petition to both Joe Biden as well as Merrick Garland to try to get him released. And so I'm going to show this to you. I'm going to whip you around one more time. Here you have, it's available at Move On. If you search Move On and Free Steven Donziger, it's going to show up. And look, I'm going to keep it real. I don't have a lot of hopes necessarily that Joe Biden would get involved in this. But I really hope that they do, because this is incredibly unjust. So if you could go, it'll take a minute. You have to put in your first name, last name, email, zip code, and mobile, and that's it. And maybe something will happen. Well, exactly, agnostic sister. That's what we're hoping for. So thank you to Jordan and Move On for doing that. A lot of great work that they've been doing. Also, by the way, do you remember back in the day? My producer reminded me of this when what's the URL? The URL is sign.moveon.org/petitions/free-Steven-Donziger. Just search for Move On and Free Steven Donziger. You'll find it that way. Wayne says, you still love dogs, John. Want to start a meme? Hashtag Donald GOP cheap mistress. Let's get it going. Quokey's also are cute. So you remember when John Oliver bought up all that medical debt to free people from their medical debt because you can buy it much cheaper than the actual amount? Well, Stacey Abrams' PAC is doing the same thing. They have used $1.34 million to buy up the medical debt of 108,000 people and clear it. Isn't that awesome? That's great. The Fair Fight Political Action Committee. Yeah, they have, there's this nonprofit organization, RIP Medical Debt. We've had a person from that on several times. And the face value of the debt was $212 million. This is people in Georgia, Arizona, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. No, but really think about that. So not only is it 108,000 people are going to be cleared of the medical debt, that's obviously great for them and their families and their friends, but it's $212 million of medical debt that they were able to buy for $1.34 million. That is, I don't even know, is that pennies on the dollar or is that less than pennies on the dollar? We gotta do some of that. Like, we're not going to be able to raise $1.34 million, but think about if we could raise $10,000, $20,000. It's not going to clear 108,000 people, but we could clear hundreds. Is that amazing? We got to do that. We got to work on that. Okay, so good work there by Stacey Abrams. Obviously, I don't agree with literally everything that Stacey Abrams has said or done, but this is obviously objectively a good thing. Far better would be for us to get rid of a system that puts people into medical debt in this way, but hey, what do you know? I want to give you an update. A while back, we talked about a story that happened right near here, actually. So you might recall there was an 18-year-old woman. That woman's name is Manuela Rodriguez. She had gotten into some sort of altercation with a 15-year-old. This is just south of here in SoCal. She decided to leave, gets in a car, and drives away. And a school safety officer started shooting at the car, hit her. She died within a week of her injuries. It's insane. Absolutely insane. He is being charged with murder. He's in custody. Bail set at $2 million, which that's going to sting. That's a good amount of money. And let's see, the Long Beach Board of Education fired him earlier this month for violating the district's use of force policy, which instructs its safety officers not to shoot at a fleeing person, moving vehicle, or through a vehicle window unless, quote, circumstances clearly warrant the use of a firearm as a final means of defense. Which obviously this was not the case. I mean, not only was she not driving at him, but there was no threat of anybody dying other than her and only because of him. If he had not been there, if he had not had his gun, nobody would have died. He wouldn't be in prison right now. He wouldn't be facing years and years and years in prison. And I just really hope that a lot of people see this. Any other school safety officers who have these fantasies of being Rambo or whatever, maybe that's not necessary. You know, look, if there's a crazy school shooter, which we're going to have in America because we throw, guns like confetti across the country, then yes, we do want you to do your job when it is warranted. But it is not on you to decide at all times, like Judge Dredd, who deserves to live and die. A woman died totally needlessly. An 18-year-old, whole life ahead of her. At the very least, is being charged with murder. We'll see what ends up happening with that, but that is what we've got right now. By the way, yes, we haven't hit 1,000 likes yet, have we? I noticed that as well. Apparently we did, I'm assuming we have confused a lot of people with the thumbnail, because normally at this point more people would be watching. I guess that's probably what it is. So from what I'm going to do from now on is, I'm going to wait until after the stream and then upload a thumbnail, which still will confuse the people who watch it after as a full show. Maybe I can put pre-show or something like that. Anyway, Liberty University we talked about yesterday on the show for their culture of, hey, rape is totally fine, except not 100%, because some of you who have been raped, you violated our code of conduct. Well, they might lose their tax-exempt status. Not because of that, regrettably, but because let's see, we have a recording obtained by Politico. Hey, Politico doing something good. Liberty University President Jerry Prevost told Scott Lamb, who was then the university's senior vice president for communications and public engagement, are they getting people elected, which is one of our main goals, talking about the university and school. Are they really motivating our conservative people to really get out to vote? If they are, we ought to be seeing some changes in elected officials, and we are to some extent. All I want to do is to make us more effective. So here's the thing. They are a tax-exempt. They're a religious organization. They're not supposed to be doing obvious, clear, motivated electioneering for one political party. You can't do that, except that you totally can. You totally can get away with it in the vast majority of cases. Maybe not in this case. Now, is this the thing that I would want them to suffer consequences for? Not necessarily. The rape stuff is, I think, objectively much worse. But they suck, so screw them. Whatever it is that gets them. They're breaking the rules. They shouldn't have their tax-exempt status. Barrel-aged Millennial says, ironic comparison of those lawmakers to dogs almost has an implicit bitches written all over it. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I assume that is not intentional. We're running very low on time. Hey, there's an Oath Keeper who was at the Capitol riot who's running for office in New Jersey, Edward Durfee Jr. So I don't know if you're in New Jersey, if you can get involved in this, but that's great. By the way, he's just one. There is going to be so many weirdos in these midterm elections and for 2024. Like, I really do think, hey, Sunflower Dragon, I really do think that, Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, enjoy her crazy while you can, because she is going to be outdone. They are always going to want crazy. Crazier than the current crazy. And look, she can get crazier. That's true, and she will. She will try to compete, but crazier people will come. By the way, fun little news story. Twitter amplifies conservative politicians, says the Washington Post. Is it because users mock them? So it was an interesting study of ratioing politicians. And so they looked at a whole bunch of tweets and tried to get an idea of which politicians are ratioed the most. Do you know who came in number 1 and number 2? So I saw this, Ken Klippenstein was spreading this around. At number 1, Kirsten Sinema. At number 2, Joe Manchin. And by the way, they are the only 2 Democrats on the top 15, 20. All the rest are Republicans. You have Susan Collins, Liz Cheney, James Lankford. Who's following James Lankford to ratio him? I don't know. But then you get to Cornyn, Tillis. These are not the people that I would necessarily expect. You eventually get down to Madison Cawthorn. But interestingly, you don't have right-wingers ratioing like AOC or Ilhan Omar. You don't have Marjorie Greene. Lauren Boebert isn't here. Is that interesting? The next 18 highest are Republicans. But mansion and cinema, and that is good. That is good. Now, bear in mind, Twitter is not the real world. Simply because they're getting ratioed does not mean that they're going to lose, that they're going to be losing their primary battles. I wish that that's what it meant. No, this is good. This is a good sign, but we do need to translate this into real world action. No, Ted Cruz, I don't see Ted Cruz on this, shockingly. Wouldn't he be the most? Hey, Gene, how's it going? Okay, everybody, we're going to have to get into our last story because we have no time. Oh, by the way, Marjorie Greene invested in the Trump S-PAC that launched his social media program, and then it lost a ton of money. I just think that's funny. Anyway, so here's what happened with Donald Trump. He wrote a letter, or let's keep it real. Somebody else wrote a letter, but it's signed by Donald Trump. You can tell because it looks like this. And he sent it into the Wall Street Journal. It's an opinion piece, and they published it. Now, what's the issue with that? I mean, technically, they can publish whatever they want. And by the way, it's the Wall Street Journal, so not too shocked. Actually, the title for this is pretty bad because it doesn't take a lot of tricking to get the Wall Street Journal to do Donald Trump's bidding. But they get his specific false claims about the election. The trick is, it's an opinion piece. So what does it matter that it's full of lies? But that's actually what it is. So he sent in this op-ed. He definitely didn't write it. So I'm not even into the voice, I don't think. And it's got all these specific claims about mail-in ballots that shouldn't have been counted, Pennsylvania this, excess voters that. The fact that he puts this one claim. I want to put this claim because it's fucking ridiculous. From 2016 to 2020, I guess I'm going to do it. During my term as president, Republicans out-registered Democrats 21-1. No, they fucking did not, you lunatic. They didn't multiply by 21 the Democratic registration under a Republican presidency. You lunatic. This translated to a 659,000 vote lead at 12:38 a.m. on election night, with Trump up a full 15 points. Like, I don't even believe that that's true, but let's assume that that's true. They're not done counting the votes. We talked about this day after day. It's going to take a while. It doesn't have to, by the way. If you'd allowed them to start counting the votes earlier, if you had made the mail more efficient, maybe it wouldn't have taken so long. You seem to be really shocked by the consequence of your actions, Donald Trump. A lot of the other stuff was counted in secret. They registered to a whole bunch of stuff. The fact that there were 58,000 first-time voters that were 70 or older is just listed as evidence that the election was not fair. He's not claiming that they voted unfairly. He's just saying, no, wait, you have those. That can't happen. That's not possible. Anyway, the fact that Mark Zuckerberg was involved. Mark Zuckerberg gives him everything he wants. And so much more. No, if there was more, you'd have put it there. This is why Democrats and the fake news media do not want a full forensic audit in Pennsylvania. In reality, 80,000 ballots are nothing when there's this much corruption or voter irregularities. So all of those are bullshit claims. They tried to do all of this bullshit in the court. Why didn't it work there? It didn't work there. They couldn't win on the merits, but that does not mean that there is not time for them to still win. Now, how do you win? You win by convincing people that democracy doesn't work. He's succeeded in that already with tens of millions of Americans. They will never believe the result of an election that doesn't go the way that they want. But he wants more than that. He wants more regular Republicans to sign on. He wants others to believe it's all really just, we can argue about it. We don't have to accept the results. And one way that you do that is get reputable news sources like the Wall Street Journal to just print it. There's no fact checking here. There's no response. There's no context. There's no nothing. It is just, here is what the guy who tried to overturn democracy thinks. Have at it, America. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny, the way they sign on to this whole thing? Wall Street Journal, they're the defenders we need. Look, Red Cell missed the show too because of the thumbnail. I apologize. I'm going to be doing it afterwards. Sorry. I'm just trying to jazz this place up. But anyway, Wall Street Journal, absolute garbage. Again, not really being tricked, I guess, because they totally would be fine with Donald Trump being president once again. But anyway, you should know that that's what's going on. We're going to mention on the show today, too. So I got to go. We got to prep for the show. Trey Crowder's going to join me. We got a full old packed show. We got a Tier 3 members Q&A, which is going to be happening after the show. There's still time to upgrade your membership or become a Tier 3 member if you'd like to hang out with us. We'd love to have you as part of our crew. But that said, don't go anywhere. We got 20 minutes until the show. Well, if you do go somewhere, you can do that. You can go to twitch.tv/TYT, the members app or something. But other than that, don't. That said, I will see you soon.